real weird.
Yeah. Well,
Stuff like that starts getting real weird. And when you have people that are openly saying our goal is, and they've talked about this in Toronto, like activists have said, our goal is to outbreed everyone who is not Muslim and vote it out and put Sharia law in place.
Yeah. Hello? Hey, Abdul, you make sure you get your wife pregnant, huh? Get it fast. Let me call Ali. Hello. Hi, Ali. How are you? You all right? Make sure the wife gets pregnant. We got to make those babies. We got to outbreed those white people in America, I guess. We got to do it. We're making so many babies on purpose, trying to take over the world with our babies. We are the evil Muslims. All right, this is Omar from the Third Rail. Joe Rogan is a fucking piece of shit. He is repeating Islamophobia, whatever you pronounce the word, that was used after 9/11. So this is a bit old, this video. I just saw it. And it's unbelievable, the mind and thinking of certain people. What the hell is going on over here? Okay, let's say what he has to say, okay? This is Joe Rogan speaking to J.D. Vance. And you can see J.D. Vance, he was still running for vice president. So he's trying to avoid any scandalous behavior. I don't know what the hell was he thinking, Joe Rogan. He's fucking garbage, man. He's garbage. Yeah. Let's see what he's got to say. We're going to put you, I'm going to get out of the way. Let's see what he has to say. So make sure this is Joe Rogan's mindset right now. All right. Go.
Worst case scenario is a state adopts Sharia law. This is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I think all these people that would cry against the concept of Islamophobia really need to understand what that means and what you're talking about. And to say that that's an outrageous and ridiculous idea that's never going to take place, it's kind of already worked its way into some societies.
It has.
It has.
It has.
And there are, is it Minnesota that has call to prayer?
Yeah, New York too on Fridays. Yeah.
Like, is it Minneapolis?
I don't know where. I know that there is a place in Minnesota, I believe, where they have prayer calls as a matter of local government. I do think that's happening.
That starts getting real weird.
Yeah.
Well, stuff like that starts getting real weird. And when you have people that are openly saying our goal is, and they've talked about this in Toronto, like activists have said, our goal is to outbreed everyone who is not Muslim and vote it out and put Sharia law in place.
Yeah.
All right, so hold on. I'll be back. Let me come back. So what Joe, our friend Joe, is saying is that he's afraid that Muslims are going to have a lot of babies and outbreed 330 million Americans, or about 200 of them are white Americans. This is racism 101. This motherfucker has dropped so low and became a dog whistler to right-wing propaganda. It's not like every night me and my wife get together and say, well, we got to breed, honey. But we have a lot of babies. Now we got to do more. We have to do more. You know, we got to take over the world. This is pinky in the brain shit he's talking about. This is Joe Rogan, man. This is the biggest podcaster in the United States, is spreading some right-wing bullshit. Some guy asking a question with a camera in Toronto, as if the person who said it is a spokesperson for 2 billion Muslims in the world. Oh, about 7 million Muslims in America. Let's see what he said, okay? This is where he gets his news from. He's a fucking idiot, man. What a shit. Come on, what a... Yeah, okay, let's see. Let him go. Let him continue. Go ahead. This is weird. What happened to you, Joe? What happened? Why, Joe? Say it ain't so, Joe. What happened to you, man?
Okay, so would you like to see Sharia law in Canada replace Canadian law?
At some point it will. You know, because we have families, we are making babies. You're not.
As if this person is the spokesperson for me and, like 10 million Muslim Americans? I mean, this is fucking stupid 101. And for Joe Rogan to play this shit on his podcast, he could suck, you know, what I'm talking about. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Your population is going down the slump, right?
Population.
And by 2060, according to Pew Research Institute, your research, by 2060, Muslims will be the biggest religious group the world over. What are you going to do then?
Actually,
are you going to oppose Sharia?
And I appreciate your honesty. This guy is a racist. He wants to get that out of them, and he got the right answer he wanted to, so he could play on white fear.
Even then,
well, you know what?
I appreciate it.
I'm very appreciative of the honesty. We don't usually get that. So you do support Sharia. You do want a Muslim majority nation in the West End, correct?
Yeah, I gotta push that
just
in.
like you had a Western majority nation in a land of Native Americans, one day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada.
No, we don't want to. We just want to live our life, and we're gonna have to be banging away for the next 200 years to have a majority.
Right in your face.
That's very scary.
Women have to wear burqas. This is how it works.
Yeah. Well, and that's what to me is so crazy about some of the hyper left-wing reaction to, the idea that like somehow I want to force every man, woman, and child to go to my church is ridiculous. I just don't want to do.
So J.D. Vance here is playing it cool. He's like, listen, Joe, we got to be careful here what you're saying here. We're trying to win the presidency. This is before Donald Trump won. And I can't believe that Joe Rogan is saying that, man. It's so hurtful to come from a guy who's from Boston, was liberal as shit, who used to eat cat food before he became rich and started making money. Yeah, he used to eat cat food in Hollywood before he became on the factor.
Do that. I've never had any interest in doing that. But where you see actual real religious tyranny is increasingly in Western societies where you've had a large influx of immigrants who don't necessarily assimilate into Western values, but try to create, I think, a religious tyranny at the local level. And if you think that won't happen at a national level, you're crazy.
Okay. This is what has me perplexed. Every time I talk to people, you say, you Muslims don't want to assimilate to Western values. And I always ask them, what are Western values? Let me know what they are so I could assimilate to them. What is it, having barbecues? Is it going to the baseball game? What values do we have? The same values you have. We want our children to grow up safe, not to be criminals, not to become enemy of the state, not to cause anybody any issue, to become very successful in society. That's all we want. Isn't that your value? If that's not your value, tell us what it is. Because I can't understand what is Western values. Can somebody answer that for me, please, on the comments? I need to know. There's no such thing. Western value are human values, everybody's values of good homes, unbroken homes, people who pay their taxes, play fair, kind to people. This is what we are. And Joe Rogan, we're not trying to outbreed you, man. You are the dumbest piece of shit I ever known. We didn't know you were that dumb until you started freelancing in right-wing media.